I love it. I love it. I love it. Look at this. This is the greatest thing I've ever seen.
Hey, I'm not surprised.
Hey, what's poppin', my homies? What's good? Another full card UFC breakdown video to make. This one's gonna be Jamahal Hill versus Thiago Santos. Man, my bets on the last card, no bueno. I took only underdogs, and I did expect to go better than 1 out of 5. So yeah, the bets on the last one, no bueno. Now guys, looking at the MoneyCity comments, like, the community done unbelievable, really well on the MoneyCity plays, and I've actually got like 25 MoneyCity comments to show. So if you don't want to see the MoneyCity comments, like I say, there's 25. You smacked on the MoneyCity, guys, unbelievable. So if you don't want to see all of those comments, you can skip ahead, but I'm gonna show a lot of MoneyCity plays, and let's see how quickly we can get through these plays. All right, so Sugar, Closer, Morales, Pantoja, that's money. Broke bets, you know Broke bets is gonna smack the bets. Closer, Ankalaev, that's money. Diety had Closer, Magomed Nunes, that's money. Groovy kept it groovy on the MoneyCity. Pavlovich, Ankalaev, Nunes, that's money. AG had Closer, Pantoja, that's plus money, and it was money. Alright, Beef had Morales, Closer, Ankalaev, Pantoja, Moreno, Nunes. Beef, if you do that again this week, the bookie's not gonna like that. That's money. And then we've got Chef Mikey, Pavla Smash, Magomed, Nunes for the bread, for the money. AJ had Pantoja, Negamerianu plus 201, that's money. Dev the Dude had Magomed, Morales, Pantoja, that's money. Man, all of these parlays, they're like a mix and match. You know, all the same thing. Watty, Morales, Morono, Ankalaev, money. Shane said Morales, Ankalaev, Closer, plus money. That's money. Fleece had Closer, Pantoja, Moreno, Kaikara, under 4.5, Nunes. That's plus money. That's money. Right, moving into a play from the Don. We're rocking with Nunes, Moreno, Ankalaev as safe picks, and then Pantoja, Doba, Closer, a bit more risky, but it doesn't matter because it's money. That's money. My bro Pike with the plus money over 2.5 with Moreno, Kaikara. Draka, yeah, it's money. Pike with the money. Afraid to gamble, who won't be afraid to gamble anymore. Pantoja, Magomed, easy money. It's easy money when you're afraid to gamble. Okay. Spencer, Torrado, Morales, Morono, Magomed, all M's for the MoneyCity. Okay. Nordic Helles, Pantoja, Doba, plus 140. It's money. Nunes, Pena over 1.5. Brandon, Kai over 2.5. Even odds. I got my monthly wages on it. Okay, that's money. Alright, Mikey Medina said Closer, Ankalaev, Pantoja, Doba. Let's see what's good. That parlay was good. That parlay was money. Zach Peterson, Pantoja, Closer, Pavlovich, plus 269. Yeah, okay. Alright, Erick said I went a little crazy last week, so I'm going to try play it safe. That's kind of how I feel with my bets. My 2-fighter parlay this week, Moreno, Pavlovich, it's money, okay. My bro Cody at Blood Money MMA. Check this MoneyCity, guys. Pantoja, Closer, Ankalaev, Mays over 1.5, and Moreno, that's money. Alright, nearly done with the MoneyCity comments. We've got Tejman, 3-leg parlay, Closer, Pantoja, over 1.5, Moreno and Kai. It's plus money. And it's money. Braden McAllister had Closer, Pantoja, over 2.5, Kai Kara. Yeah, again, it's more money. And the final MoneyCity comment's going to be from Rocky. Kosi, Closer, plus 117. That's money. Alright, my homies, you absolutely dusted the MoneyCity comments, so be sure to drop those again. Let's break down this UFC card. Alright, moving into the first matchup on this card, we've got Mayra Bueno Silva taking on Stephanie Egger. Now, this is going to be a 50-50 matchup, pretty much. And the reason why it's going to be a 50-50 matchup, if you look at Mayra Bueno Silva, her takedown defense is not good. You know, there's fights where she wins because of her jiu-jitsu, but still taken to the mat. So the takedown defense, we can see it's not good. You know, the matchup against Montana De La Rosa, she was ragdolled pretty much in that fight. Against Mano Fiorot, that's obviously a very difficult matchup. Now on the flip side, looking at Stephanie Egger, had a very tough UFC debut against Tracy Cortez. Then she fought Shana Young, which, Shana Young should not be inside the UFC. Stephanie Egger displayed her grappling work with some ground and pound. Then most recently, you look at Jessica Rose Clark trying to initiate the grappling with Stephanie Egger for some reason. And again, Stephanie Egger shows her grappling work, shows her jiu-jitsu credentials. So this matchup, if Mayra Bueno Silva gets taken to the mat, it could be Stephanie Egger. And that's kind of why I think it's a 50-50 matchup. You know, Mayra Bueno Silva could be looking pretty good. But then the matchup goes to the mat and Stephanie Egger searching for an armbar. She gets the armbar. You know what I'm saying? It's low level women's mixed martial arts. For the sake of the channel though, to make a pick, I'm going to side with the more experienced UFC fighter, and that's going to be Mayra Bueno Silva. Just not confident. You know, it's a 50-50 matchup. Alright, moving into another matchup that's pretty 50-50. You've got Cory McKenna taking on Miranda Granger. And it's pretty much the same thing, you know. Cory McKenna, this girl's a good grappler. She comes from BKK Fighters, which is near me. And Cory McKenna's a pretty decent fighter, you know. Her grappling's good. But the problem is if the matchup doesn't hit the mat, if the matchup isn't grappling, then it's completely 50-50. Probably favour Miranda Granger in the striking. You know, so if you put some money down on this one, you're thinking it's gonna be a good matchup for Cory. She's gonna get the fight to the mat. If she doesn't, then you know it's Miranda Granger looking good, potentially. And guys, don't forget, Miranda Granger was a -200 against Amanda Lemos. Right, -200 against Amanda Lemos. That's a madness. Now looking at Miranda Granger, you know, it's been nearly 2 years since this girl's been inside the octagon. So purely for that reason, I'm going to side with Cory McKenna to get the takedown in this matchup. You know, it's pretty clear to see that when Cory McKenna can get the fight to the mat, she's pretty good. You look at the fight on the Contender against Vanessa Demopoulos. You know, the top control from Cory McKenna looked pretty good. Against Kay Hansen, the only toes girl, who's not in the UFC anymore, a lot of grappling in this matchup where Cory McKenna was able to sweep, able to end up on top. It was a close one, but there was a lot of grappling. Now against Elise Reed, the matchup that she did not win, there wasn't really enough grappling, and that's why she lost the fight. My prediction, like I said, I'm going to side with Cory McKenna purely because the activity of Miranda Granger, it's not been too good. So yeah, I'm going to side with Poppins. What's poppin'? The Hobbit, Cory McKenna. Let's go. Alright, moving into a matchup here between Jason Witt taking on Josh Quinlan. Now, normally, guys, I wouldn't be so confident on a fighter that's only 5-0 in Josh Quinlan, but man, this guy's pretty good. You know, you look at the Contender Series fight that Josh had, and the footwork, before that TKO came, before those punches arrived, the footwork of Josh Quinlan, I really like it. I think it's good footwork. So if you didn't make that read, I would advise you, you know, go to UFC Fight Pass, rewatch Josh Quinlan, and the footwork, it's good. The heels don't touch the ground. Then you kind of make the connection, guys, that Jason Witt has a completely dusty chin. You know what I'm saying? The chin is made of dust if you're Jason Witt. So if Jason Witt is going to win this matchup, he would have to wrestle Josh Quinlan. And like I said, I wouldn't usually be so confident that a fighter that's only 5-0 can do well. But I really like what I see from Josh Quinlan. And I don't like what I see from Jason Witt. He's got a glass jaw. So my prediction is going to be if Josh Quinlan can keep this fight standing, which I think he probably does considering he's training out of Sanford MMA. I think at some point he can break the face of Jason Witt. Alright, moving into a matchup where I'm going to make a shock prediction, and the shock prediction may not come through. I'm going to side with Takashi Sato to beat Bryan Battle. Now, what's the main reason why Takashi Sato's a big underdog? His takedown defense, really bad. No bueno. And Bryan Battle has some pretty good jiu-jitsu, you know. You look on the Ultimate Fighter, where he gets to choke against Petrosky. Then you look at his performance against Tresean Gore, which wasn't a jiu-jitsu performance. He kind of circled the octagon, had good output, kind of spammed kicks, which I don't really think he's going to do this fight. I do believe he's probably going to try to grapple Takashi Sato. You know, even against Urbina in his UFC debut, kind of got tagged up a little bit, but then got the fight to the mat, got the sub, got the win. So yeah, it's pretty clear to me that if Bryan Battle can take this fight to the mat, do something similar to what Gunnar Nelson done, he's going to get the win against Takashi Sato. It's really for Takashi to say, look, I'm the more experienced fighter in this matchup. You're not going to get me to the mat. I'm going to let my hands go. I'm going to let my kicks go. Just control the fight, dictate the fight. A subscriber on the last breakdown said, you haven't sparked up for a fighter in a while. And I let that subscriber know next week, which is this card, we're going to spark up for 2 fighters. Now, if you can't remember what sparking up for the fighters done when we did it, Michael Johnson, before the Alan Patrick fight, hadn't won a fight in a long time. We sparked the blunt for Michael Johnson. He gets the win. He gets it done. Then the week after Michael Johnson, Chase Hooper, as an underdog, we sparked the blunt for Chase. He gets it done. Then the week after that, Carolina, yeah, as an underdog, hasn't won in years. She gets it done. So I'm going to spark the blunt for Takashi Sato. He kind of needs it. You know what I'm saying? Hasn't won a fight in a while. I think if we spark the blunt, Takashi can keep the fight standing. He can cash as a big underdog. So there you go, Takashi Sato. The community has sparked the blunt. If you cannot win this one, you get cut. Alright, moving into a matchup here between Terrance McKinney taking on Erick Gonzalez. My prediction has to be Terrance McKinney to win this fight. And the main reason why I'm going to do that, if Terrance McKinney is nearly stopping Drew Dober, he should be able to stop Erick Gonzalez. You know what I'm saying? And you look at Erick Gonzalez, you know, getting tagged up by old man Jim Miller, not looking good outside round 1. My prediction with this matchup, guys, I have to side with Terrance McKinney. But if you look at the money line, you know, -8, -9, you cannot bet that. But yeah, I'm sure everyone's looking at Terrance McKinney's money line thinking, that's a joke. You know what I'm saying? That's a joke. But yeah, as far as prediction goes, guys, I have to side with Terrance McKinney to win this fight. Alright, moving into a matchup here between Michael Oleksiejczuk taking on Sam Alvey. Why is Sam Alvey still getting fights? Why is Sam Alvey still... It's a madness. This bro hasn't won in like 8 fights. Still getting fights. Madness. To be honest, guys, I do believe it's an inside joke in the UFC between Sean Shelby and Dana White. Maybe like an inside bet that they've got between each other. You know, Dana White has to give Sam Alvey a matchup, and he basically has to give Sam a matchup that he's going to lose. And if he loses that matchup, now it's Sean Shelby's go. You have to give him a matchup that he's going to lose. And basically, you keep giving him matchups until someone gives him a matchup that he wins. And whoever gives him that matchup that he wins, that person has to pay the other person like 100 million. You know what I'm saying? It's an inside joke. And to be honest, man, if Michael Oleksiejczuk is the guy to lose to Sam Alvey, if that happens, you know, Michael Oleksiejczuk might get cut. Guys, imagine if Sam Alvey wins this matchup and the UFC gives him a new 5-fight deal. I would stop doing breakdowns. I'll go cap table tennis. I'm going to side with Michael Oleksiejczuk. Please do not lose to Sam Alvey. If you waited to smoke with me, amen. If you've been smoking this whole time, double amen. If you're not a smoker but you enjoy the smoke breaks, that's a triple amen, gang. Let's go. Hey, I hope you guys are doing well, doing blessed, having a good day, having a good week. Guys, my last UFC card for gambling, you know, I only had underdogs. And I expect it to go better than 1 out of 5. And the Kai Kara France one, man, my goodness. My guy Kai looking good in that round. He was looking good, but Brandon Moreno, that guy's a dog. And we already knew that he was a dog, but my goodness, what a fight. Guys, that main event, Amanda Nunes, oh my goodness. Guys, when Juliana was close to the armbar, I was like, no, not the spice in the blunt again. Not again, you know, but yeah, it didn't happen that time. It was weed in the blunt and we had a good fight. Well, we had a one-sided fight, but I'm just happy to see Nunes get that title, you know what I'm saying? Right, I'm looking to do better on my gambling in August. So let's get into this main card. Let's go. All right, moving into a matchup here between Ariane Lipski taking on the Zombie Girl. If you haven't seen the Zombie Girl fight before, she's called the Zombie because she takes all of the damage. All of the damage you can dish, the Zombie Girl takes that. And that's kind of why she wins fights. And I know some people might be thinking, you know, if you're new to MMA, you might be thinking, how can she take all of the damage and that's how she wins? How does that make sense? Basically, it's like that Homer Simpson episode. If you get tired and the Zombie Girl's still there, can you take the same amount of damage? Most of the time, the opponent can't. So you do have to have good cardio. You have to enjoy beating up the opponent and continuing to beat up the opponent if you're going to beat the zombie. So yeah, my prediction in this matchup, I am going to side with Ariane Lipski for the reason that zombie just gets beat up. The only concern in this matchup is Lipski just kind of getting tired. You know, if she gets tired, the zombie girl comes back. You know what I'm saying? That's the only concern with this matchup. But yeah, my prediction, like I said, I'm going to side with Ariane Lipski. I've got 2 underdogs on this card so far, guys, in Takashi Sato and Mayra Silva. I'm going to pick another underdog in this fight, but it might be wrong. It might be terribly wrong. And the underdog in this matchup is going to be Augusto Sakai. That's going to be my pick. Now, looking at Augusto Sakai's UFC career, he did do pretty good in the early portion of his career. You know, he looked pretty good when he got signed to the UFC. If you look at his most recent fights against Alistair Overeem, Jairzinho Rozenstruik, Taito Ivaza, all of these fighters that he lost to, they're probably higher level than the guys he beat. They are higher level than the guys he beat. You know, Augusto Sakai hasn't won a fight since mid-2020. The path to losing would be Serghei Spivak takes down Augusto Sakai and just kind of beats him up. And the majority of people are probably going to go with that prediction, you know, take Spivak to get the takedown, maybe a ground and pound stoppage. If there's no ground and pound, maybe a submission. And if there's no stoppage on the mat, you win that round. Now, what I hope happens for Augusto Sakai in this matchup, I just hope he can stop the takedown. If he can stop the takedown, he's got a chance. He's got a decent chance. Because looking at the Muay Thai style of Augusto Sakai, the kicks, you know, the kicks are pretty good. And the only way you've got a chance to use those kicks, you've got to stop the takedown. Now, Serghei Spivak is going to try to get that. I'm sure a lot of people are going to side with Serghei Spivak, like I said, to take the fight to the mat and just to hand Sakai another loss. I'm going to side with Augusto Sakai to keep this matchup standing, but man, there's a good chance I'm wrong on this one. Serghei Spivak might just dust him. You know what I'm saying? Alright, moving into a matchup here between Juliana Miller taking on Brogan Walker. So the first matchup from The Ultimate Fighter. Juliana Miller seems to be all about the jiu-jitsu. You know, her jiu-jitsu ability does seem to be pretty good. Looking at Brogan Walker though, she does seem to have more mixed martial arts experience than Juliana Miller. So there's kinda, you know, an even playing field. Juliana Miller is the better grappler, the better jiu-jitsu player. Brogan Walker has more experience. Now, the area that Brogan Walker might show to, you know, be more experienced in that may help her win this fight, it's going to be the takedown defense. So if Juliana Miller shoots for a takedown, usually what you would do to defend that takedown is called a down block. And all the homies that wrestle already know this technique. The down block is how you defend a shot. And essentially what a down block is, basically you would take your lead leg backwards and then replace that lead leg with your arm, right? Your arm becomes the block and you take your leg backwards. And I have seen Brogan Walker use the down block. I even see it in an Ultimate Fighter matchup. And that's kind of what I mean by Brogan Walker has more experience and that might help her win this fight. Now on the flip side, guys, if Juliana Miller is sneaky enough to, you know, take the back, just try find a way to get the back, then there's going to be a good chance she finds that submission, you know what I'm saying? It's a good matchup. So essentially, if she can keep the matchup striking, you know, that's where she's going to beat Juliana Miller. Juliana does have a good jab. I've seen her use a good jab, but that might not be enough to beat Brogan Walker and it might not be as consistent. I'm going to side with the more experienced mixed martial artist and that's going to be Brogan Walker. Alright, moving into a matchup between Zach Pauga taking on Muhammad Usman and this is going to be the Ultimate Fighter matchup 2. Now guys, originally I was kind of siding with Muhammad Usman, but after really watching tape on Zach Pauga, he does seem to be more technical. He does seem to be just sharper than Muhammad. I do like that Muhammad Usman, you know, he's trying to follow in his brother's footsteps. He's trying to do it, you know, he's putting the work in. So if he can take down Zach Pauga, you know, end up on top, or even show to be like more imposing in the striking, if he can do that, all the credit. But yeah, like I said, I just think Zach Pauga's a little bit sharper, more technical. Usman kinda dips his head with his strikes. And a subscriber pointed that out with Alex Morono last week, which, you know, he did dip his head a lot against Semmelsberger, but Semmelsberger's a little bit inexperienced. I think both of these guys, Zach Pauga and Muhammad Usman, both inexperienced. But looking at the ability they do have, I think Zach Palga's just sharper, more technical. So that's going to be my prediction. Alright, moving into a matchup. This is a good co-main event. We've got Vicente Luque taking on Geoff Neal. I really think Geoff Neal is a good fighter. Right, this guy's a good fighter. It's kind of not been too good most recently. I mean, you look at the early point of his UFC career. It's looking good. Kind of a little bit like Augusto Sakai. But I think Sakai's case is worse than Geoff Neal's. Man, looking at the fighters Geoff Neal has beat, you know, Bryan Camosi, Frank Camacho, Belal Muhammad, Nico Price, Mike Perry, Santiago Ponzinibbio. But the matchups that I think he has struggled in, if you look at the matchups he's struggled, it's been most recent. You know, do we blame Geoff Neal for losing to Stephen Thompson? That's a difficult matchup for anyone, you know? Looking at the matchup against Neil Magny though, Neil Magny he put on a masterclass. You know, Geoff Neal had to try to push him against the fence, which Geoff Neal doesn't usually do that. Against Santiago Ponzinibbio, which was his most recent performance, this one was closer than I expected. You know, I kind of felt that Geoff Neal would be more clinical with his boxing. You know, I kind of expected him to land some big shots against Santiago, but it was a close matchup. Now, against Vicente Luque, man, I'd have to say it's a difficult fight. More so for Geoff Neal. And the reason for that, you know, Vicente Luque is one of the most violent welterweights on the roster. This guy's a nasty Muay Thai striker. The kicks are nasty. The boxing's nasty. He's even got the jiu-jitsu, you know. Vicente Luque, he's all about it. He's all about it. I'm not saying Geoff Neal's not all about it, but most recently, you know, kind of been struggling with these matchups. I did go against Vicente Luque with Belal Muhammad, but that was a different fight, you know, 25 minutes. You've got a good wrestler. You've got a guy who has good cardio. You know, Geoff Neal's not really going to be shooting takedowns on Vicente Luque. He's going to try to use the boxing. And anyone that tries to box with Vicente Luque, you know, you're against a good Muay Thai striker. So, yeah, I'm going to side with Luque. All right, moving into the main event between Thiago Santos taking on Jamahal Hill. This is a good main event. Right, I want to say that Thiago Santos is one of the most violent fighters we've ever seen in the UFC. That's what I want to start with, because it's true, right? Thiago Santos, violence. But I'm sure a lot of us are going to say something similar for this main event, right? We're going to say something similar. After that Jon Jones fight, my guy Thiago Santos not been the same. You know, kind of had the career changed. You know, when you have to have double knee surgery, and you have to learn how to walk again. Guys, one of the biggest red flags, I had to learn how to walk again. That's the main reason why I picked against Sumadaji. Any fighter that has to learn how to walk again, I will bet against you. My guy Thiago Santos, you know, had the knees decapitated. You know what I'm saying? Had to learn how to walk again. That's a madness. How is he even still here? Now, looking at the matchups Thiago has had since that Jon Jones fight, he started pretty well against Glover Teixeira, but then faded. He kind of had an okay matchup against Rakic, but you could see that he wasn't closing distance the same way. Against Johnny Walker, this was like a staring contest. Again, not really covering distance the same way. More staring. And Thiago Santos usually wouldn't stare at the opponent for that long. You know, he's violent. Looking at his most recent fight against Magomed, he did clip Magomed at one point. But again, just kind of beating on footwork, beating on speed. And you can thank Jon Jones for that. You know, he changed Thiago's career. So yeah, the only way I see Thiago winning this fight, he's just got to get lucky. You know, land a big shot, get lucky. On the flip side, Jamahal Hill, you know, sweet dreams, Jamahal Hill. This guy's about it. This guy's going to fight for a title. I've picked Jamahal Hill pretty much every UFC fight. Yeah, I have. And the contender. I haven't picked against Jamahal Hill yet. Jamal's boxing is clean. You know, super clean. And he's a southpaw. And I kind of think that even if you compare Thiago's violence to Jamal's violence, if you compare it, you know, maybe you can make a case Thiago's more violent. But even if you have Thiago Santos, the more violent striker, you're going to come back to the fact Thiago Santos is not moving the way Jamahal Hill moves. You know, when you have to learn how to walk again, that's a red flag. I'm sorry, I cannot pick Thiago. I have to pick Jamahal Hill to win this fight. Alright my homies, be sure to drop down your main event, your co-main event, your underdogs, your Money City plays. Drop all of that in the comment section. And as always, keep your eyes to the sky, never glued to your shoes. Mac Miller. Alright, peace.